Welcome to Side Hustle City, and thanks for joining us. Our goal is to help you connect to real people who found success turning their side hustle into a main hustle, and we hope you can too. I'm Adam Kaler. I'm joined by Kyle Stevie, my co-host. Let's get started. All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Side Hustle City podcast, and as always, Kyle Stevie, trusty co-host, is by my side.
Literally right by.
He's my right-hand man today. He's right here.
Basically your right hand.
Yeah, he's sneaking up on me over here.
This is uncomfortable.
Well, we have a camera now, people, and eventually these things are going to go up on YouTube. So Kyle was hiding behind some microphone stands, and now you can see his lovely face.
Sort of,
yeah. But Sarah Williams.
We can see her face.
It is a pleasure. She is our guest today. Thank you for being on the show.
I'm excited to be here. Can't wait to see what we talk about.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
First guest that's actually recording live from a warehouse.
Yes, but really cool stuff, a subscription service. So, Sarah, let's talk about these businesses you've got. I'm looking at your warehouse right now. Looks well organized. You got these calendars behind you, big printer. You spun the camera around. We saw this awesome warehouse you got going on.
It looks like the set of The Fabulous Miss Maisel, except cleaner.
True. Well, that was back in the day, too. So, Sarah, tell us a little bit about your background and then jump into what got you started in this subscription business, these box businesses.
The background is, I think it's a lot of people's story. You go to college, you learn a skill. I got a master's degree, and then you go out into the real world and you realize you don't want to do anything like that, right?
Yes.
Like you want to do something different.
Yes.
I didn't want to sit in a cubicle all day. And I learned that really, really quickly when I got out of college. And so it was at that point that I decided I wanted to be an architect. And so then I went back to school, to art school. I went to art school and to get my drafting and design so I could be an architect. And when I was there, I realized I had some artistic ability that I had no idea that I had, kind of growing up. And that went through a series of different things for me and ultimately landed me in a lot of different places. And I always say bravery leads to opportunities, and so it's like putting yourself out there and then these opportunities come. And it went through a series of pivoting. Started as a side hustle. I was working for a Fortune 500 company. I started teaching some classes on the side, some art classes. And that turned into me creating a company called Framed, where I was framing the artwork that was coming out of these classes.
Oh.
So I was teaching, then I was selling them a frame to put it in. And that's how kind of my entrepreneurial journey started. I no longer frame anything, but that's kind of how it started. And it led to another opportunity and another opportunity. And then I opened a brick and mortar store, and then I opened a larger brick and mortar store. And then we shut the brick and mortar store down during COVID, went to the warehouse. But while I was in the brick and mortar, I started my subscription box. And my brick and mortar store specialized in personalized gifts. So we were putting your names on things. We were putting your initials on things. We were customizing your gifts that you were buying from my store. And that's really how the subscription box started. My box is called the Monogram Box. And so something inside the box every single month is personalized just for that person. So it's really a gift to yourself. So when all of this started to happen, I had started the subscription box in 2017. It was really before you saw a lot of subscription boxes in the industry. You saw the big players. There was Ipsy and FabFitFun and the Bark Box, and those kind of players were in, but really small businesses weren't doing it yet. And so there was a lot of unknowns. We kind of mentioned that it took me a little while to get it going because I just didn't know how to figure out all the logistics. I had a physical location where people would come in and buy products, and that was it. I was not online at all at that point. And so, when I decided I was going to go all in with the subscription box, I hired someone to help me with logistics. It was basically my web developer. He's like, I can figure all this out. I can figure out reoccurring payments. You get the stuff, you make the box. I'll figure out how we're going to make it work. So then it's like learning the shipping, learning, as I grew, I had to learn manufacturing overseas and all of those things.
Yeah.
But then it started to grow, and it went from 50 subscribers to 100 subscribers, to 600 subscribers, to 3,000 subscribers. And so then we quickly outgrew the building we were in for our brick and mortar. We were just using this back room to fulfill everything. And when COVID hit us and shut down our store for about 45 days, I was kind of panicked. I had spent 7 years building my presence in my local town, and I built this business. And at that time, about 60% of my subscribers were local too. And so I was like, okay, if I got to shut this down, am I going to lose my local subscribers? And I think that was always my fear going in, was they were a huge part of my business. If I didn't have the physical location, would I still have my business? Was my physical location the reason I had success? And so I was nervous about that. But when we got shut down, we turned everything online. Our online business grew like crazy. Now we're at 3,000 subscribers. We closed the store. We opened a warehouse. We're so much more efficient. We get to work less. We're making more money. Like, it's so much better than what it was just trying to work out of the back room of the store.
Wow. Sarah, how miserable would you be right now if you had a 9-to-5 job?
Gosh, I haven't had a 9-to-5 job in a long time. And I think about, you always think, what if this bubble bursts, right? We live in this space where everything's changing, and you kind of learned how my story has changed. You got to keep pivoting. But what if that bubble bursts? And it's like, could I do that again? And I just don't think I could. I'd have to be like a homesteader. I'd have to figure out how to live life without having a job or something, because it's just so much different. I don't think I could go back to that.
No, I can't even imagine. It would be like torture to me. Like, I don't know. I just can't. You know what the weird thing is too? I can't be around people, like normal people. Like, I can't live in a cul-de-sac. I can't drive a caravan. I can't have the same car as like every neighbor I have.
You could drive a Sienna.
Like, what if your house looked exactly the same as every single person on your street, and half the kids' names were Dylan and like Bridget or whatever the heck, Brittany. And like, oh my God, like I know there's some people probably listening right now and they're looking outside their window. They're like, holy crap, this is my life. But I can't have that life. And I think a lot of people like you, Sarah, you're different. Like, you think different. You're creative. You can't just be a drone. Like, I can't just be this, like, I get up at 7:00, take the kids to school. Then my next job is to go to work, and I sit there for 12 hours.
All right, Dick, we get it, man.
Dude, it's awful. I can't. God.
I got it. It's
Sarah,
my life. I'm living it right now. I got it.
Do you see, as I'm talking about this, are you seeing this in your head and just feeling miserable? Like, don't you feel bad for people that have to live this life?
You just don't have any freedoms, right? Like, you don't have the freedom to wake up and choose what you want to do today. And that's what we get to do every day. We get to choose. Am I going to go work at the warehouse today? Am I going to sit in my backyard and work by the pool?
Yeah.
Am I going to jump on a plane and go work in California today? Like, what am I going to do today? And I get to choose that every single day. Or am I going to go on vacation? Or am I not going to work today? Or what am I going to do today? And we get to decide that. Yeah, we put a lot of work in. We put a lot of work in up front, like many, many years of hustling, day, night, sleeping, not having enough sleep and just missing out on things. But now the reward is that, look what this life that I've created for myself, right? It's different. And not a lot of people understand it, because we work a lot, right? Like, entrepreneurs work a lot because it's in our brain, and we work and we think about it all the time because we love it, but it's a different kind of work.
Sarah, do you stay up late nights? Like, is your sleep schedule completely jacked at this point? I know mine is.
No, I'm like an early morning person.
Oh my God.
So, like,
how?
I'm like 5 a.m. brains on, let's go. Yeah, I'm the early morning person.
I want to be an early morning person. I'm just like a 3 a.m. think about going to bed person. And then I'm like, should I go to bed now? No, there's more alien stuff on YouTube I should be watching right now.
I'm more of a go to bed about 10 o'clock, but I had like 2 IPAs and a bourbon. And then about 3 o'clock, I'm the 41-year-old having alcohol at night. Like the acid reflux starts and you just lay in bed. And like, I want to go to sleep. I can't go to sleep. And then you fall asleep for like 25 minutes and then your alarm goes off because you got to take the kids to school and then go do your second job, go to your job. You got to do that thing.
Kyle's also writing a book right now. So that's him.
Me too.
Rough drafts finished, bro.
Yeah, he sent me it
Finally.
today. Yeah. So he's writing a book on tokenization of assets. So like crypto.
It's going to be a real page turner. It's going to be like reading the Count of Monte Cristo. It's like Dumas and Stevie.
The left brain people are going to love his book, Sarah. They're going to love it, right?
What's your book on? It's going to be much more interesting.
Yeah, your book, I guarantee you, is probably more interesting than I wrote a book too, but we're not going to talk about that. Let's talk about Sarah's book.
I'm in the middle of writing it and it's hard. Like it is hard. I've never done that before. My book is called One Box at a Time, from self-doubt to self-made. And so it's like this journey that we go on.
Way more interesting than mine.
Oh, it sounds awesome already.
Like hers is going to be inspirational. Mine's
tough.
a cure for insomnia.
Yours will put us to sleep. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what he said. He said it's a cure for insomnia. It's a cure for insomnia. No, but so inspiration. This is what I love. We have people on here that have written books, all this, a lot of them are, on sales and things like that. But this is who our audience is. People who feel miserable because they're working at a regular job. They don't know why. They just think they're supposed to go to a 9-to-5 job. And they don't understand, like, once you break free from that indentured servitude, like, you have time to think.
Oh, stop.
And try things.
They know they shouldn't be doing it.
I don't know.
But they're too afraid to give it a shot.
That's
what it is.
That's why her book's going to be fantastic, because it's going to be like, look, mother of truckers, I struggled with this too, and it was really hard for me. Now here's my journey. Suck it up and go, buttercup.
That's right. So tell us more about the book. I'm sorry, we keep talking.
It's fine. It's awesome. I think that that's the internal struggle. I could have started my business 10 years before I did. And there's that internal struggle that you tell your head and your heart, like, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I'm just a regular person. I don't have it in me. I don't have the risk factor. I'm not the kind of person that goes to the casino and puts all my money on black. Like, I'm not that person. And so that's scary. I've done all this schooling to make sure I have a great career. And now I'm thinking about quitting my Fortune 500 job so I can go teach people how to paint. How does that make sense in my mind? I've spent all this time perfecting what I think I should be doing. But at the end of the day, it's about, I think for me, it was like, I wasn't afraid of failing. I was afraid of looking back and saying, what if I didn't do this? And I think the fear of possibly being successful and giving that up, that was what drove me to say, you know what, I can do this. And also I had the support at home. I had my husband supporting me. Whatever you want to do, we're fine. And, when you start your business, you don't have a lot of money to deal with. I didn't have investors. I didn't have anybody giving me money to start a business. And I didn't pay myself for almost 9 months when I started my business. And it was at that point where I either got to start really making some money, or I'm going to have to go back to work because I'm not pulling my weight at the house. And so it was one of those things that, like, okay, if we're going to do this, we got to go all in. I'm going to give it one more shot before I call it quits and go fill out my resume again.
No.
And so, yeah. So it was like, we got to go all in. And that drives you to not be ordinary. That drives you to step out of your comfort zone. That drives you to push forward. You know what you need to do a lot of times? It's the feeling of unworthiness in you that hold you back, that self-doubt, like, why me? Why would I do this? I'm just a regular person. And I think I say that all the time, like, I'm just a regular person, because it's true. Regular people just need to step through the opportunities that are in front of them. And every opportunity leads to the next opportunity. So
we just had, was it Susan Harrow?
Susan Harrow? Yeah.
And it was like, the same thought process, but the opposite side of the success spectrum, where you have imposter syndrome. So at this point, you've already achieved it, and you're kind of like, why in the hell did I just achieve this when other people aren't achieving this? And this is like, why can't I do? I know I can do this, but I don't think I can do this. Why would I be the one to succeed? This
is what I tell people. I don't know what it is. It's like all entrepreneurs are like on the same page. What she's saying right now is exactly what I tell people all the time. I'm like, you can do it. I'm like, look out here. Like I meet tons of entrepreneurs all the time. And I'm like, there's nothing special about this guy. There's nothing special about her. Like I got a 2.71 GPA. I got a 3.8 my senior year. Still graduated 2.71 in high school. No, 2.71. That tells you how bad my first 3 years were. I mean, I also went to school in the hood and had nowhere to study. But like, there's a lot of people out there like that. Didn't mean I wasn't a hard worker. And there's a lot of other folks out there. It's like you can out hustle intelligent people.
Yeah.
There's a saying in law school that was what did guys in class used to tell us? A students become professors, B students become judges, C students become millionaires.
Yep. Did A Millionaire Mind, the book The Millionaire Mind. Most millionaires are C students and grew up poor, not middle class, not rich. 40%. It said in the book, 40% of people who grow up rich end up going down a social class. Probably because they weren't the ones that made the money. Their parents made the money and they did coke.
Well, and they had to split. Then they probably had to split the inheritance with people.
And they probably had to split the inheritance and things like that. But like you've got hustle is underestimated. And now, Sarah, I want to ask you, how many people that you grew up with that may, and don't worry about hurting their feelings. How many people that you grew up with have said to you, well, you got lucky, Sarah, or they look at your success now like you just kind of coasted into this.
Must be nice to go on vacation.
That's it. It's that must be nice when they see something that I'm doing. Must be nice to get to go on vacation every month. Must be nice to drive that fancy car. Must be nice to do those things. They don't know how many years that I worked my face off. No. They have no idea what I sacrificed with my kids. They don't know. They see the story now. They don't see it 9 years ago when I had to make a decision of a paycheck or try this thing on my own. They didn't see the years that put into what I've built now. And so it's kind of annoying, right? Because it's all that grit that we have as entrepreneurs that gets us to where we go. There's tons of obstacles that get thrown in our way literally every day, but it's how you're going to overcome, how you're going to get over those hurdles that make you successful. Everybody gets them. I'm not immune to getting, obstacles thrown in my way. Let's talk about the supply chain. Do you know how many pieces of product I got to have in my warehouse every single month just to fulfill my monthly subscribers? Like, it's ridiculous. Do you know how many obstacles I've had to deal with that? But we keep pushing on.
Provider.
We keep finding. I'm sorry.
He's a logistics guy.
Said I know a service provider.
he works for like the second largest freight broker in the country.
Yes,
but it's
I
those
feel
things,
your struggle.
Yeah, it's those things that you think it's just so easy for someone like me to run a business like that. No, I've put a lot of sweat equity into this business, and now I'm reaping the benefits of it.
100%. Everything you said is true. And I've had people call me lucky, and it's like, what have you been doing this whole time? Like you haven't been paying attention to my stuff until you saw my vacation pictures, right? Like you didn't know anything that was going on like before this. You don't know the, 18 months of every single weekend I spent like with Austin and Matt trying to like help them build that company. And then they took it and ran with it. But, there's a lot of work in that. My ad agency, all this other stuff, like, these things, you're up all night. You're answering emails late at night. You're doing all kinds of stuff that you don't work 40 hours. This isn't like, let's go home at 5 o'clock, and have dinner with the family and sit down and, the rest of the night you're vegging out on Netflix or whatever. No, you're working whenever you need to work. When you go on vacation, you can't fully be on vacation. Like you're working still, sure.
Oh, I call it working from exotic places.
Yeah.
Exotic offices, because I freaking do it still. And I do it 9 to 5. Like we were just in Florida for spring break, and I had a bid due because that's what customers do. They're like, oh yeah, I got to have this in 4 days. I'm like, bro, I'm on vacation. I don't care.
Yeah, they don't care.
So it took me 10 hours that I had to do to bid lanes that I'm not going to win because cheaper carriers are going to get them. It's frustrating.
But you had to do it.
I had to do it.
Wild. So Sarah, tell us more about your business. Like, how does your business work? I mean, I'm familiar with the box, like monthly subscription model, like food.
Yeah, you are. We talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about it. We got an idea. We're not going to bring them on the show.
No, we're not going to bring it up, but I want to stay married.
Yeah, but there is a, like Birchbox, things like this. Those are the ones I'm familiar with. The food ones, obviously they send you HelloFresh, things like that. So, keeps me going to White Castles and stuff. But what is, talk about your product, like talk a little bit more about how it's, who it's for, who's the target. How did you narrow down this target?
So it really stemmed from my brick and mortar store. Again, I was personalizing everything. So I decided that I had this customer that I would see on a regular basis. They would come in my store, typically about once a month. They would be back in the store making purchases. I was doing live selling on social media at that time. And what I was hearing was that they missed what I was selling. Like they didn't get to the store fast enough. And these were like my regular customers. And so I was selling out when I would live sell on social media. And so I wanted to create like a VIP experience for those loyal customers that I was seeing in my store every single month. So I put together this box, and my box is very girly. So it's for women who love monograms. I say typically in the South, it's typically Southern women. We have our monograms on everything. We have everything personalized. It's just a thing in the South that we say, if it's not personalized, it's not really yours. So that was who I was targeting. That was my ideal customer. I'm in Texas. And so it was just familiar with me. And that started, there's bags, jewelry, t-shirt, like there's all kinds of great things in our boxes every month. They're specially curated. Everything goes together. So you're going to get, the t-shirt and the earrings and the bag that matches or whatever the theme is for the month. So that goes out every single month. And then I have a t-shirt club. So I have a t-shirt. I create and design all my own t-shirts. So that artistic ability that I had when I was teaching, that's now what I do to design my products. So I design the t-shirts, those go out. We send a couple thousand t-shirts out every single month to the t-shirt subscribers. We have a teacher subscription. So we design shirts specifically just for teachers as well. So that's the nature of my subscriptions.
Oh, wow. And are you still doing the framing business?
We don't frame anything.
No more framing.
No, that was a pivot that went into it. It was another opportunity, right? Like as things change and as the opportunities were opening up, we just completely changed the business model. And even to this day, I have the warehouse, we do the subscriptions, but I teach about 4,000 people a month how to start their own subscription box. So I get to take what I've learned, and I have thousands of students that I get to show up for and teach every single month. I have a course that they can take. We have a mastermind. So I get to take my knowledge and use it in a different way. So it's just this constant evolution of my business.
You have 4,000 each month? So you said?
Yeah.
How do you keep up with that?
I have a great team of people that work for me. Yeah.
So it's not like individually touching 4,000 people. Is it like pre-recorded classes and such?
So it's a membership. So they join my membership, and inside my membership, they have my core content, which is my trainings that are pre-recorded. So they could go watch the shipping module. They could go watch the packaging module. They could go watch the social media module. They could go watch the launch module. Like they can go watch whatever they need when they need it. And then we're together in a community, which is a Facebook group. And so, and that's where I show up once a week live, and I teach them, I answer their questions. I do box openings. So I'll open those boxes. They can submit a box to me, and I'll do a live opening in front of everyone and give them feedback about their own subscription boxes. So that's what they get every single month. They get to ask questions. We have tech experts in there, Shopify experts, WooCommerce experts. They get to ask all their questions about their businesses.
Holy shit. So I'm assuming that that's a huge revenue source for you.
Did you build?
It's one that doesn't have product attached to it too.
Did you build that in Kajabi, or what did you build that in? Kajabi? Yeah, it's a famous one. So my wife owns a spa, and I guess, she's considered, I say this on every podcast, I think she's considered to be the top spa expert esthetician in Cincinnati. And she knows everything about the skin. She was pre-med in college. She got a biology degree. You've got these other women who are just throwing acid on people's faces and they barely got any kind of education. Or, oh, this is a great product.
She's
or something.
So much business.
Over the counter, whatever crap that they do. Like, she really understands, and she curated her own, the product line that she has. And she's tried practically everything on people. But so she's got this really, really good product line that she carries, but she's teaching classes now. She's teaching people how to take care of their skin, how to, don't stay out of the sun, things like that. But that's another thing she's doing. And she's doing a lot on like, TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that. And she does some YouTube videos, but this is something that I think people overlook that's become popular, I'd say, over maybe the last 5 years or so. But you build a business, you learn a lot. And Sarah, you've obviously learned a ton building this business from scratch. Doesn't sound like you had much help. You didn't learn this in school. Mm-hmm. So you've collected a lot of knowledge and understanding about how to build a business like this, and you're willing to share it with other people, which is amazing. You're not squirreling away this knowledge and this information that you have. You're like, ladies, you want to start a subscription box business? Here's how you do it. Sign up for my class. Boom. And it takes a long time, dude, to put one of these together, to build these individual modules, just to outline, like, what am I going to put in this? I mean, that takes a lot of time. And you had to go back and probably do a lot of thinking, like, oh, what did I do early on? And what did it,
gotta reverse engineer it all. And what I thought, when I first started, it's called Launch Your Box is my membership program. And that's my podcast too. It's called the Launch Your Box podcast. But when I started it, I thought, okay, these are going to be people like me that already have a product-based business. And I'm just going to teach them how to build a subscription box into that business. And so when I launched it the very first time, it was these people that wanted to build a business from scratch. And so I'm thinking they need something else, and they need something completely different than what I thought. So I'm having to go back and say, okay, let me go back to when I started my business. Let's go back and start from scratch and build your business from scratch. Or if you already have that foundation, you already have a product-based business, then you're just quicker to launch the subscription box because you already have a lot of the things in place that you need to. But it's figuring out what they need, because a lot of times what we think people need are different. And then putting that program, because it does take a lot of time to build that. And it took me quite a long time to build out the course.
Do you see a lot of the people, and what you said before about confidence, and you got to have, in order to start a business. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that want to do it, and they probably, they have that entrepreneurial spirit, but what might be lacking is the enthusiasm, enough enthusiasm to get over that hump of, I'm not good enough.
Well, let's define enthusiasm too, because I know that I'm the epitome of enthusiasm. I come across as very emotional. People try to tell me to tone it down all the time. But enthusiasm can be kind of like me, where I talk like Eeyore from freaking Winnie the Pooh. But you're willing to work harder than everybody else is willing to work. And that's enthusiasm internally. Thank God, because I would fail miserably if it was enthusiasm externally. But I just want to make sure that when you say enthusiasm, you're not talking about a rah-rah bullshit, because
no, none of that. I think the excitement you have around the idea of starting a business or whatever the idea is, because a lot of people have great ideas and they just don't follow through. The execution is not there.
Or they get started and they're like, oh my God, this is so much harder.
It's too much. The competition.
Or you got a bad partner and they're all up on you because you don't spend enough time with me. And then you start letting that distract you from your goal, which was never truly a goal in the first place. It was just an idea.
But Sarah epitomizes what I'm talking about here. Yeah. Sarah doesn't care about more competition. She's willing to tell everybody else how to start their own box thing. She's like, oh,
essentially, everybody that I teach could be my competition.
100%.
Right? They're all selling subscription boxes. That's what I do. That's driving my 7-figure, e-commerce business. And I'm teaching all these people how to do that too. But I think I live in a land of abundance, and I live in a place where I like to serve. And so for me, the biggest reward is seeing them succeed. The biggest reward as a coach is to see them make a living doing something they want to do, get out of that 9-to-5, get out of whatever they're doing. Because so many of them are still in their 9-to-5 when they come into the membership. And so I think for me, it's helping them get over what's holding them back. Mindset is 75% of being an entrepreneur. And it took me a long time to figure that out. But mindset is a 75% of what you're going to deal with being an entrepreneur. It's like the highs and lows, this emotional roller coaster every single day. And the feeling of, I'm doing great. Oh, I suck. I'm doing awesome. Oh, I'm not good enough. Like all of that is in your head all the time. And if we can just push past it, we can do anything we want to do.
I think that what you've done unintentionally or intentionally, I don't know, is that you've actually broadened your market, your industry, your niche in the industry here, because now that you have more competition, the tide rises, and so all the boats go up too. And now people that like, I had no idea what the hell this was until about 30 minutes ago, and now like. I know, but you know what I'm saying? Like there are areas of the country that I'm sure this subscription model hasn't made its way to, because I don't know anybody in Fort Thomas that does this. So you're able to fill all these different markets and all these different people, and you've established yourself as like a subject matter expert, because there's only so many people you can serve. It's not like getting warehouse space is not easy. You know that. It's like big companies are having trouble finding proper warehouse space. Like the fact that you have warehouse space is amazing. So your competition you're already at a economy of scale compared to everybody else. Mm-hmm. And now you've got more of a reach because you've got people that are coming to you. You're the guru. I don't know that if you meant to do it that way, but damn it. Like you're like on a rocket ship.
Yeah. Yeah. You
got a big area of the map that hasn't been touched by what you're doing.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And we're just growing together. I love how you said rising tides lift all ships, because it's true. We're growing together. We're learning from each other. I'm learning from them just as much as they're learning from me. But we get to do it together. And it's like having that accountability partner, right? Built in, having someone tell you, having that support system, because what I find with a lot of these, and I would tell you 98% of my members are women. I got a few dudes, but 98% of them are women. And a lot of times they just don't have that support system at home. They don't have someone thinking that they can do this. They have someone thinking, oh, she's doing this little thing over here, and they don't see it as a legit business. But once it starts bringing in a legit income, then they're like, oh. But a lot of times women don't have that support out of the gate when they want to try something new. So this is a community of people that can support each other right from the get-go to help you take the next step and the next step and the next step to get where you want to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was just going to ask her about that. I was going to say, you know, I was assuming that most of your clients were women. And I was going to ask you, what are the differences? And I know you don't work with a lot of men, so maybe you can't answer this, but what do you see that's unique about women, maybe versus men, starting businesses? Now, you just mentioned not a lot of support at home, but is there a mental barrier? Is there a cultural barrier? Because I'm all about like women getting their businesses off the ground. I think we need more entrepreneurs, period, in this country. And the more people that are out here starting businesses, small business is the driver of most jobs in this country. So if you've got an entire segment of the population that isn't being encouraged to start businesses, we're at a huge disadvantage in this country.
I think women are turned off by bro marketing, honestly. It turns us off. Like, we don't want to be like that. We don't want to operate like that. We don't want to market like that. We don't want to be associated with that. So when you look at women, they want to do stuff not transactionally. Okay. They want to do something that means something to them, that means something to the person that they're providing, you know, whatever for, that makes a difference in their life or someone else's life. We want to have meaning out of what we do. And not that guys don't, because a lot of guys do. But when you look at, you know, the bro marketers of the world, it's all about the jets and the Lambos and we're not about that. So that doesn't attract us for them to be our coaches, right? We don't look to them as somebody that we aspire to be.
That's a really good point. And also, I'll just let you know, dudes only care about money. Like 100%. Like if we're getting into a business, how much money does it make? Like that's really all we're concerned about. And it's all about status. A lot of times it's all about, you're not even doing it for like ladies. Like I think there's a misconception that guys are out here. They do a lot of stuff so they can get more women or they can get more attention from women. No, it's to impress other dudes.
My everything I've done in pittance compared to everybody else, but damn it was hard for me, was the fact that it was cool stuff to do. It was cool. It was a cool challenge. Like, can I do this? And I guess part of it was like a
self-improvement. Yeah.
And part of it was legacy too, but it wasn't about like a community thing. It wasn't like fulfilling another person's life outside of like a family member.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get where you're coming from. It's much more egocentric, selfishness, but not quite selfish, but pretty damn close.
But I think too, you found something that, I mean, you tapped into what you were talking about, the monogram. There's a culture there in the South. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not yours if it doesn't have your initials on it or whatever, your monogram on it. We don't have that up here. Like if you walk around with a monogram in the North, they're probably like, man, what's wrong with you? Like, why is everything monogram, dude? Like,
hey, Stevie.
Yeah.
There you are, Stevie.
Yeah, there he is again. Old KS. But they wouldn't do that same thing. So you tapped into something that was, that was a culture you knew, and you knew there was a market there, and you knew people enjoyed it. They probably love opening up their monthly subscription and seeing what they've got going on. But then on top of that, you're like, wait a minute, there's other people that could be doing this. I've got this process. I've created a specific process for this business model. I mean, that's all McDonald's is. That's all Chick-fil-A is. They're all processes. Those are business processes. You created your own business process, but we're like, hey, why don't I share this with other people? Help them fulfill their lives or find their monogram business or whatever it is.
I always say the riches are in the niches, because when we can go deep into a niche, it's not like, go broad all the time. Go broad. You can reach more people. But it's about going specific into a niche and being known for something. So I'm known for this. I'm known for teaching people about subscription boxes. I could teach people about e-commerce and fulfillment and all kinds of stuff, but I don't. Everything I do is subscription box centered. And so I attract people that want to put that in their business. And so, the biggest successful boxes that we have inside our membership that have thousands of subscribers are those that go deep into a niche. We've got like the Yarnable box. It's about hand-dyed yarn. Like that is so specific. Someone that wants hand-dyed yarn, she has thousands of subscribers. We got the guinea pig box. It's a box for guinea pigs. Dogs have boxes, cats have boxes. Why can't guinea pigs have boxes?
Yeah.
Like just going specific into your niche. That's how you can target interests. That's how you can be known for something. That's how you attract other people in those specifics. And those are what sell so much better than just being for everyone. If I've got a self-care box, how many people have self-care boxes? Like it's everywhere. And so if I have a self-care box for moms that homeschool their kids, there's your market. Do you know how many homeschool moms are out there? Do you know how big this niche is?
Getting bigger.
And all you have to do is start to target those people, and then you're speaking their language. Homeschool moms have a language, guinea pig owners have a language. People that make crochet stuff with yarn have a language. Like speak their language and you'll attract those customers better. And you just have an easier time growing your business than if you try to go broad for everyone, it just doesn't work as well. Or you've got to have a lot of cash flow to burn through ad spend if you're going to go broad.
What part of Texas are you? You don't have to say city, but just like what region?
I'm in North Texas.
Okay. So you could do like a guy, just thinking out loud here, do like a cowboy subscription box, but you'd have to get licensing agreement with the Cowboys, where every month you make up a new Cowboy shirt and you send out a new Cowboys like shirt and hat together.
God, you guys love the Cowboys. My God.
Is that right? Am I thinking correctly on the business model here?
Well, you would definitely, that's a licensing play. And I don't think they would let you allow you to do a subscription box with all licensed products. But you could do something very specific like that. It could be like navy blue and silver stuff. So you could wear it to your Cowboys games that you have season tickets to, but maybe it's not all logoed. You'd have to have a license for that. Yep. But you could really get specific. Like there's, a men's underwear subscription in my membership. There's a guy that has a coffee subscription in my membership. There's a guy that has a candle subscription in my membership. So there's just so many different ways that you can create a really niche specific product and target those people.
So how do you fulfill all these orders if you don't have a warehouse that's like as big as let's just say any dock doors whatsoever, not your monster facility you got going on there, but just like I have no dock doors. I'm working from the back of the store like you started. Mm-hmm. What's that process? But now that when we were working out of the back of the store, we would have our shipments delivered on pallets, and I didn't have any way to take a pallet into that store. The door wasn't even big enough to take a pallet. So we'd have to unload every pallet onto shelves. We would have to process all, count all the pieces, and then box packing time, we lined the boxes up on all the tables that were out there, and we would go down the row and we'd drop the stuff in, and we would shut them, throw the shipping labels on. FedEx would come, we'd load them all up in the truck, and it would go. And that's how we ran our subscription for a very long time. And we do something a little bit similar now, but we have a bigger facility. We take stuff in on the pallets. It gets counted down. We have months worth of subscription box stuff here now because supply chain, we got to have it earlier. We're not going to get it. And we have negotiations with the carriers, UPS and FedEx, and the post office. And so different subscriptions go out with different carriers, but it's all very organized and well planned out now that we have this many subscribers. I have 3 subscriptions. So we plan them different times of the month. So the first of the month, the Monogram box goes out. Then after that, our t-shirt club goes out. And then after that, our teacher subscription goes out. So essentially we'll fulfill subscription boxes all month long. And that's how I'm able to keep my warehouse staff busy all month long. Plus we have an e-commerce shop that's driving a lot of business every single day. So we're fulfilling those orders out of our warehouse too. So you're creating your whatever design you're going to do for the month for monograms. And then you are outsourcing the production, I'm assuming?
Yeah, the manufacturing.
Okay.
So once the designs are set, that goes to the factory, and we get a sample made. The sample's sent to us. We approve the sample, or we say, I want you to change the zipper. I want to change the pocket. I want to change the color, whatever it is. It goes back. A new sample is made. Once the final sample is approved, those go into production, and then they're shipped overseas to us, and they're direct to our door.
Nice. See, what I like about this, you've got a lot of people that think they have to start from scratch with some side hustle, right? Like I've got to start from scratch. I've got to, whatever it is, even if it's a simple side hustle, like power washing. Like I recommend that to the young people. I'm like, go get you a power washer, $200 up at Home Depot, start spraying people's driveways, start spraying that moss off the side of their house or whatever.
I'll be right back, guys.
Yeah. Or whatever it is. Like you've got to, you got to do something, but it doesn't have to be a novel idea. It doesn't have to be a technology startup. You don't have to come up with the next greatest app. Like you've created a model here. This is something that so many people can do. Why?
Absolutely.
With something that you've taken years to develop, and all they have to do is buy a course.
Yeah.
And then do the work. Come up with something. Yeah. Whatever. Everybody's got some niche. Like you said, everybody's got something that they know about, right? Baseball. I know a lot about baseball. I know a lot about football. Kyle said, the first thing he brought up was the Dallas Cowboys. Like you could do a box for the freaking Dallas Cowboys if you got a licensing agreement. But like there's so many things that could go. Talk about the process. Talk about how long does this course take? What does the course cost? What kind of commitment do people have?
So it's a membership with a course built in the membership. So as long as you're a member, you have access to all the material. As long as you want to be a member, it's $57 a month. So for very low cost, you can join, you can come start learning. So all my video training videos are like Netflix style. You can watch what you want. You can binge watch it. You can watch, pre-launch, building your audience, logistics. You can watch whatever you want. So if you come in with a little bit of knowledge and you want to just focus in on packaging, or you want to focus in on product procurement, or whatever it is that you want to do, you can just jump right in. And then it's about showing up in the community, asking questions. There is a workshop that I like to have people go through when they're thinking about this. So people are listening right now and they're thinking about, oh, this might be good for me. I have a workshop called 6and60workshop.com. It's free. I'm going to walk you through.
Are those the numbers like 6 and 60 or six, the number 6? IN60workshop.com. Okay. And so I'm going to walk you through the process of laying out what 6 months of a subscription box could look like for you. So whatever niche you're in, whatever idea you have, I'm going to go through this process that I go through to plan my own subscription boxes every 6 months. And so I want you to do that first, because if you can't visualize what would be in your box, what you're going to do, you're going to just spin your wheels with trying to figure out packaging. You don't know what's going to be in your box. So how can you figure out packaging, logistics, shipping costs? Like, you don't know yet. So my goal is to get you to see what this could look like. And it might change over time, but if you can visualize what this could look like for you and your business, then you can take the next step. Now let's build an audience. Let's get on social media. Let's start talking to the people that would want this subscription box. And then we're going to start, finding product. I'm going to tell you how to shop wholesale. I'm going to tell you to go to market. I'm going to tell you how to work with manufacturers. I'm going to tell you how to work with global marketplace like Alibaba or India Mart, some of those. Like, how do you get started buying product if you've never bought product before? Yeah. And then I'm going to walk you through the launch process. Here's what we do when we launch something. And it's just kind of, you take it as you need it. If you've got some of that established, then you can just go right to what you need and get your box launched quicker than someone starting from scratch. But it's all there for you inside the membership. So you got your ass whooped for like the last however many years it's taken you to come up with this process. I'm sure you lost money from, on things and trying to, it's like you had to pay for your education in different ways, right? And it was through failure. You had to pay. You learned a lot of lessons, I would tell you. I've had shipments come overseas that there was no way I could sell any of that product. And I've lost all the money that I had invested in that. I've invested myself in learning and training and figuring out. I didn't go through college to be an entrepreneur. I went through college to be an accountant. For God's sake. I didn't have this knowledge when I came into the business. It was figuring it out. And even when I was in college, when we took marketing classes, we were talking about newspaper ads and billboards. We didn't have the internet like we do now. We were learning how to do, an ad in a magazine. We didn't have what we have now. So it's about investing in yourself and learning and not being afraid to put yourself out there. Man. Yeah. And all this struggle that you went through, somebody could pay $59.99 a month and just have it and not have to deal with a lot of the headache that you went through. They don't have to figure it out themselves. They're going to have to show up. They're going to have to do the work. I'm not building a business for them, but I'm walking them through the exact way that I built my business, a very successful subscription box business. And if I took 18 months to figure it out, here it is. You could probably take a few days and watch all the videos and be on your way, but you have to show up and do the work. You have to want it. I can't want it for you. And I think that's our biggest downfall. We have this great idea. Yes, I'm going to do a subscription box. This sounds amazing, but you got to do the work. It takes work. If it wasn't hard, everybody would do that. It's not easy, but I'm giving you a blueprint on what you need to do and how you need to do it. Here's my problem. Showing up is easy for me. Working hard is easy for me. And I would assume you as well. It's hard for me to understand why some people just don't do that. Like, why don't you just do it? Like, why? What's going on in your head that you would just not do it? Like, just work. Because I think people overthink everything. They do. They overanalyze.
I think a lot of people have an issue with once the adrenaline wears off, like, how do I keep this energy level that I need to sustain this? Yeah. And they start to... I've got some co-founders like that. And their mind... Yeah, you do. And their mind starts to wonder, like, is this even worth it? Like, I don't need to do this. I don't have to do this anymore.
That's a good point. That's actually, the momentum, the excitement, the honeymoon period.
Of good points today.
The honeymoon period.
Fire.
No, you're rocking it out, dude. The honeymoon, I would call it the honeymoon period, but you're right. And I think, for someone like you, who is a doer, who is accomplished, who, for God's sake, if you were an accountant right now, could you imagine that?
No. Yeah. Do you ever have to get anybody's face? Like, that's like one of your students, not in their, well, I guess you can't really get in their face, but like get really close on the Zoom call and go, why are you being so lazy? You've got a good idea. Just freaking keep going.
No, I don't call them lazy, but they call it my ranty pants. So I put my ranty pants on and I'm like, listen, we gotta just show up and do the thing. Whatever the thing is, do the next thing. And I kind of get on to them sometimes because they just want to give excuses. Okay. Like, I can't do this because you're not different. You're not different than anybody else here. You just have to do the thing. And then once you do that thing, you do the next thing and you do the next thing. You're the one holding yourself back because you're telling yourself you're different and you can't do it because you're different. We're not different. Just start doing the thing. And one thing builds momentum for the next thing, and it builds momentum for the next thing. And if you can keep that momentum going, that's how you're going to be successful. But if you stop every time something gets hard, or you give up every time something gets thrown in your way, your momentum's gone. And you have to start over again every single time that you think you want to do this. But if you just keep building on stuff, you're going to look back and realize how far you've come.
Yeah, it's really it's
no, that's good.
It's great. I was very inspired. Goose, I you can't see it, but the hair on the back.
No, a little tear came down.
Well, he was
scared.
But you're talking to people, and a lot of it sounds like they run into like a lack of discipline beyond just the honeymoon and all this other stuff, and the self-doubt. It's just a lack of discipline in the face of adversity,
or no support. They need a cheerleader in a little bit too.
Well, right, but what I'm saying is that if they just discipline themselves, like, it's like you're looking at them like, look, just discipline yourself. Like, take care of yourself mentally, take care of yourself physically, take care of yourself spiritually, and it will show itself in the work that you're performing. Like, discipline yourself as a human being to do this because you wanted to do this. Don't come in as half-ass, like, put my foot in the water, but keep the other one out. Jump in the goddamn pool because you can swim. I know you can swim. You just tread water for the first 2 weeks and you did great. Great idea. Now swim the effing lap. Like, that's how I would do it.
Well, Sarah, here's the thing. So, we run the Side Hustle, Facebook group also, Side Hustle City Facebook group. We got the podcast here. I was thinking about this Turo thing, right? Like, you rent your car, it's like Airbnb for cars or whatever. Yeah. So I'm a cheap bastard. So to get me to buy anything is crazy. Like, so I was driving around my 2007 Chevy Silverado since, up till about last year. Actually, I'm driving it now because somebody's got my car. But when your truck didn't work, you were driving around in a Benz. So let's have some perspective here. I was driving a Lime scooter down the street. I drive the Lime scooter.
It's a very, very nice Benz, by the way.
Yeah, that's my wife's Benz. So I'm not really supposed to drive it, even though I pay for it. But Sarah, I had to literally go out. I bought a car, immediately put it on Turo, started tracking how much money I was making, how much money I was spending, putting it on the Side Hustle Facebook group to show people. Like, you have to do it and show them. And then even though I did that, still a million questions. Still nobody wanted to do it. Even though I made, I don't have a car payment. I'm making money. I don't have a car payment and I'm making a little bit of money. But it's $1,000 a month car. So I get to drive around when it's not rented out in this really nice car. I've got a backup car, which a lot of people don't have a backup car. But if you're thinking about, hey, I want to start a business, you could literally use Turo to get yourself a nice car, not have a car payment, and your second biggest expense in your life is paid for. So now you have more money left over to probably start a box business. Maybe that frees up your time a little bit. Maybe you don't need that second job or whatever it is. Or if you go out and you buy a 4-family house, you move into one, you rent the other 3 out, you house hack. Now you don't have a mortgage payment. Well, now you don't have a mortgage payment. You don't have a car payment. So where's all your money going? Could be going into starting a business. But you have to like actually do it and show people for them to just get over that hump sometimes.
But even then, they're gonna overthink everything, and they're gonna tell themselves they can't do it because of I'm different. I'm not like you. I can't do that. So they're gonna give themselves excuses of why they can't do it instead of just digging in and figuring out how it can be done. And that's the difference between entrepreneurs that make it and entrepreneurs that want to make it. We figure out how to get it done instead of spinning around this hamster wheel in our head of why we can't do something, why I can't be a millionaire because I'm not like them. I'm an ordinary person. I said it when we started. I am a regular person. I'm a mom of 2 teenagers. I live in a small town. Like I'm a regular person.
You got 2 teenagers?
Yep.
You look like you just got out of your teens. 2 teenagers.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. What is going on here? Man, I guess, whatever you're eating's working.
Isn't it fun? Isn't raising teenagers fun? Isn't it everything they told you it was going to be?
It is actually pretty awesome. They've got I could just see their personalities. I got a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old, and they're just awesome.
So I had twins, and so it was like, they like were each the devil on each other's shoulder. And they were just, they were all, I mean, they're great kids. They didn't do anything terrible, but it's like trying to keep them in the house. Like, you guys aren't allowed to sneak out tonight. I know you're going to sneak out tonight. And I got an 11-year-old, and she's the complete opposite. She will not take risk at all.
Maybe not an entrepreneur.
Man, she wants to be a wildlife photographer, so I'm trying.
Oh, that's
not
cool.
everybody. Not everybody's made to be an entrepreneur, and I think that's what makes everything so great. I have amazing staff. They're not all made to be entrepreneurs, but they are great team members that work their hearts out for me, and I appreciate that about them. And I think it's okay to not expect that everyone has the entrepreneur mentality like we do. But if you have it, you got to lean into it.
Oh man, if somebody has it and I see it and they're not using it, it makes me so sad for them. It's like they live in a prison, but they're outside walking around with the rest of us, but they're not fulfilled, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I
was that way for a long time, working in my little cubicle. Yeah.
This is why the podcast exists. This is why the Side Hustle City group exists.
Yeah, this is why we get tens of listeners every episode.
This is why Sarah started this program. Like, people just take the class, just do the course, and you know, start your company. $59 could turn into what, $100,000 a month, something like that in business,
or more.
Yeah. For God's sake. Sarah,
I need to come up with a box. Like what?
I got a box. I do.
Yeah, your box is going to get you in trouble. I need a box that's more Me Too, hashtag Me Too appropriate.
Oh, well,
that's
too appropriate?
That's not Me Too. That was what
no.
You
need the bullet box.
That was bad.
Bullet box for dudes, 2A guys. That's what you know about.
Yeah. No, I don't know anything about 2A.
Oh well, then maybe Mike Hiles. Mike Hiles could do the 2A box. Or
he could.
He could do the bullet box. I don't know if it's illegal.
I don't think we can ship firearms and stuff.
Probably not.
But I would like. I'm thinking.
We're just throwing out. Just brainstorming.
I mean, even like dip of the month thing. But you can't ship tobacco. So
can't ship tobacco. Can't ship bourbon.
I can't ship anything fun.
Everything people in Kentucky. Things that people.
Anything that you're passionate about, you can't ship.
Yeah, you can't ship like Roman candles one month and then ship like black snakes the next one.
These are things. Weed. Like, these are things that people in Kentucky care about.
A different strand of marijuana every month.
Yeah,
that would be
some Kentucky crazy like hills of Eastern Kentucky weed.
Different shrooms.
Yeah, dude. These are the things people in Kentucky care about. Bourbon.
Oh, we could do the
horses. You can't ship horses.
Earmuff this, sir, so you don't get in trouble because this way it's plausible deniability. We can do like the Silk Road version of this and have an awesome encrypted subscription, like run on Signal or something.
Oh, yeah.
As long as the post office never finds out. We gotta get some good guys on the inside of that.
I mean, Sarah wants nothing to do with anything we've come up with right now.
Deniability.
She's staying away from it all.
I'm just going to take her class. So
this is what happens when you have guys coming up with ideas. This is terrible. Anyway, well, you live in Texas. There's probably all kind of crazy ideas. You guys are like our cousins. Kentucky.
They ship exotic cats and stuff in Texas. They got tigers and lynxes. And
you guys are just as bad as we are up here.
Snow leopards.
Anyway, well, Sarah, I appreciate you being on the show. This has been awesome. You've been super helpful. The fact that you're giving back, and that's what I consider this. This is giving back. This is consolidating years of torture.
Or this was penance for doing something terribly wrong.
Yeah. But no, this class, the stuff that she's doing, the same thing with my wife. When she gets her stuff going, she's dealt with it, and I have barely helped her. She's grown her business on her own, and she's doing a killer job at it. Sarah, you're obviously killing it. Like, this is crazy. And now you're giving back. I mean, and all people have to do is spend a little bit of money. I pay twice as much for my damn internet connection at the house. And that's not changing my life. It's just letting me watch more alien videos. So
I have a confession to make. I keep looking at her background and seeing Wordle.
Wordle, what do you mean?
That
stupid game. I don't even know how that game works. I'm not getting into it.
I just see the board.
I saw people with the Angry Birds.
The advertisements keep popping up on my phone.
I can't get into it because I know that it'll take me away from what I need to be doing.
Sarah knows because we talked. This is how we broke the ice with each other. I have no idea how my iPhone works, and I cannot get this damn music to stop playing when I get into my car.
Well, Sarah, we really appreciate it. We're going to give you your time, the rest of your day back. You're an hour behind us. You're probably getting ready to wrap it up for the rest of the day. So we do really appreciate it, and I'm sure everyone who's taking your classes appreciates it, and hopefully we get some future folks in there for you.
Yeah, they can find my podcast at the Launch Your Box podcast. I talk about just really simple ideas every episode of how they can make the next step in their business.
And give us some more URLs. You mentioned a couple URLs here.
Launchyourbox.com is where you're going to find everything. You'll find my free workshop at 6and60workshop.com. That's also on the Launch Your Box website. So you could go there, you could find my podcast, you could find the free workshop. I have lots of free resources like a packaging cheat sheet. I've got some great items over on the website if you want to download some free things and get started.
Amazing. I love it, Sarah. Well, thank you very much. Hopefully your husband, what's he do by the way? What's he do for a living?
He's a UPS driver.
Oh my God. So he can give you the down low on what's going on.
Wait a minute. What kind of, how do you having logistics problems with a UPS driver?
You said zero logistics problems.
Yeah.
UPS won't drive to China and pick up my shipments. That's the only issue that I have.
That's true. That's very true. Oh man. Well, that's awesome. What a good connection. That's a good, that's a good setup. Look at that. Yep. All right, Sarah. Well, thank you very much.
Awesome, guys. Thank you.
All right.
Have a good night.
See ya.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on this week's episode of Side Hustle City. Well, you've heard from our guests. Now let's hear from you. Join our community on Facebook, Side Hustle City. It's a group where people share ideas, share their inspirational stories, and motivate each other to be successful and turn their side hustle into their main hustle. We'll see you there, and we'll see you next week on the show. Thank you.